Hello, hi, what's up, and welcome to all my viewers from around the world. The rain is pouring and the magpie is casting, coming at you guys today with a 1v1 live game. Spawning in the west, we have the overcommand forces of wopzwopz. Oh wait, sorry, no, of Fortune. And spawning in the east, we have the United Kingdom forces of wopzwopz. Good name, liking it. So the map today is going to be Kholodny Ferma. I'm sure everybody's very familiar with this map. It's a pretty good one. One of my favourites. Been in the game since release, way back in the day. This is actually probably the single map which I have the most plays on. I looked this up in my stats the other day, and I've played this map over 250 times. I think it's like nearly 300 times actually. I can't quite remember. Anyway, played this map a lot. Good map. Good map. A lot of buildings in positions which are good but not super dominant. Even this church, actually, because it's screened off by this hedge and by this line of sight blocker here, never really dominates the game too much. You'd think for a structure position right in the middle, as tall as this, with as many windows as this, you know, a sniper and MG in there could really dominate the game. But it never really seems to happen, and I think that's a good thing. I think maps that are characterized by single dominant buildings, they just tend to have a really boring early game, because it's whoever gets the MG in there, you know. We've all had those games. Anyway, the Sheriff Schlepper here for Fortune is going to move out into this kind of position, but he doesn't actually have any infantry to take this point, so it's not going to deploy there, I think. Maybe just doing some scouting. Tommy's over here going to be putting some sandbags down. Wopzwopz clearly moderately well versed in the fact that they enjoy the heavy cover to increase their fire rate. The build order for our overcommand player is going to be 2 Volks, and looks like he's probably going to put down his Vermax Schlepper. No, he is just scouting with that. So yeah, going to have a 3rd Volk squad. And we got a Vickers and a 2nd squad of Tommies, and then the Bren troop carrier, the Bren carrier or the Universal carrier or whatever. The Bren vehicle going to come on out and a little ride around. Seems like the Vickers has found the Vermax Schlepper here, and the Vermax Schlepper's going to have to be a little bit careful. I think he's just, like I say, using it for scouting. And the reason I say it's got to be a bit careful is that the Vickers can actually deal some damage to it. And we've just got our first little skirmish here. We've got some Volks in heavy cover against some Tommies in heavy cover. And I'm glad to see the Tommies actually appear to be winning this fight. It's a little too early to call, but they were ahead on damage for a second there. And the reason I say that that's good to see is because, you know, these guys cost 280 and the Volks cost 235. And every time I see Tommies take a fight in the early game, they just seem to lose. So anyway, I'm just going to turn on the Fog of War here to take a look. Okay, so there are some Storm Pioneers right here laying mines, but if we turn the Fog of War back on, there we go, see, they're just out of range, so the Brit player doesn't know. So I was just making sure, because otherwise, A, those mines are a bit obvious, and B, those Storm Pioneers would have been a hell of a good target. But anyway, the Storm Pioneers coming in from the north here, they're going to force these Tommies out of here, and another squad of Volks indeed, that is just way too much. Where's that Vermax Schlepper? I can hear, there it is. And it seems like we've got the Bren carrier as well. Pardon me. In this area of the map, but there's just too many Axis forces to push that away just now. Going to garrison this church. Using the Vermax Schlepper to take out this hedge is Fortune, and that's pretty clever. I like that. Because now the line of sight from this building is even better, and well, I presume he's going to hold on to it. So both players have in fact now chosen a commander, as the Bren just going to have a skirmish with these Volks Grenadiers in the north of the map. The British player wopzwopz has gone for the Royal Engineer Regiment. Fantastic doctrine, I'm sure everyone's quite familiar with it. Just give the YouTube a quick pause now if you want to have a look at those abilities. Pretty strong package, pretty general package, quite liking it. Meanwhile, the Fortifications Doctrine is the choice for our overcommand player Fortune, and I can hear a Vickers firing somewhere. Here it is. There we go. Forcing some Volks back. So this Fortifications Doctrine borrows a lot from the Wehrmacht, and it's a good all-rounder. I think on this map it was really cool. If you can build a Pack 43 here, it's like nearly GG kind of thing. Well, it's not that good, but it's pretty damn good. So these Volks might want to just get into this wall. I know that it says heavy cover, but I think that the directionality on that cover is actually not protecting them from the Bren. And these Tommy's going to force them back. Just going to crack open the tactical map here, and we see that there's a slight advantage going to the Axis forces. A couple more territories held, and all 3 of the victory points, opening up a lead now, up to 62 tickets. So, doing well for himself at this stage of the game is Fortune. And he has actually decided to deploy the battle gripper headquarters right back in his base. Like, okay, well, let's see how he uses it. I just think this is a limp choice. I mean, yeah, he gets to heal his dudes, but well, we'll see. We'll see how he uses it. I'm gonna abstain from judgment from now, but generally, I just don't like it when overcommand players do this. I just don't think it represents a lot of value for your first truck, 40 fuel, and 200 manpower. But anyway, Storm Pioneers here, going to force back this squad of Tommies. They're going to grab the munitions point, which is super valuable. Munitions, of course, unless he builds a Rakettenwerfer, it's going to be down to the munitions to get a Shrek on these Volks to push back the Brand, which of course obviously has been upgraded for the 90 munitions from the UK forces with the Wasp flamethrower, and that's a pretty potent unit. That is pretty potent. I'm sure that we'll see 1-star veterancy coming up on this fairly soon. These Storm Pioneers probably going to beat this unit of Tommies as well. Oh, maybe it's close. No, Tommy's going to bail out of there. Oh, some cunningly placed mines going to be the end of that Bren carrier. And there's still mines in this location. Wow, Fortune is just... That is some good mine placement. I mean, he opted to spend a reasonable amount of his early munitions on those mines. And to see them pay off like that must just put a smile on his face. Let's see if he can add some insult to injury. If these Volks are going to come in and salvage this Bren, that really would add insult to injury. 5 more fuel for the Axis forces. Looks like we do have the salvage coming out, so I think it's fair to say at this point, Fortune, a pretty experienced overcommand player, so that's good to see. I hopped on the live games register and I just picked the top game. There are a few observers on it, and it was sorted by player rating, so they should be like reasonably high skill. So anyway, looks like we've got a Beaufort the choice here for the British player, and I like this. The upgrade doesn't cost too much. I think it's like 10 fuel, 60 manpower to be able to build these, and then to build one, I believe, is 30. Let's have a look. 30 fuel? Yeah, 30 fuel, 280 manpower. And basically, the gun on this thing is pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty sure it feels like it's too good, because it just exterminates units. Like, infantry just die in like 1, 2, 3 shots, and the rate of fire on that thing is just immense. It'll kill retreating squads like they're not even retreating. The damage is just so high. And of course, if you garrison it with a squad, as we have a fight here between Vickers, these Tommies, Royal Engineers, that Vickers is terribly, terribly positioned. Wow, just about going to get them in arc. Anyway, yeah, if you garrison a squad in the Beaufort, you get to use the suppressive indirect fire barrage, which it's incredibly useful in 2 ways. Firstly, it very rapidly suppresses infantry caught in the area, and secondly, it pretty much very rapidly kills infantry caught in the affected area, so it's a pretty good ability. It also lasts for a good long time, and the cooldown is very, very low, and it doesn't cost any munitions, so pretty good. Grenade here onto the Vickers. Oh, wow, and I'm sure he really, really wants to get the squad wipe here, because if he can... Oh, okay. Gonna have to back up there. I mean, look at that! Look at that! Oh, no, and he pressed fallback. That will be a squad wipe. No? Oh, the Beaufort not paying attention. He got very lucky there. What he should have done, of course, is run his infantry around here to about here and then press fallback, because falling back past a Beaufort, you're going to lose that squad 9 times out of 10. Apparently the Beaufort didn't actually track and aim at that squad there, which I'm a bit confused about. Anyway, the second Schwer of a Max Schlepper for Fortune is coming out onto the map. Fortune now ahead by 188 victory points, which is pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive amount to be ahead at the 8-minute mark. So the late game, whoa, the Beaufort just griming these guys. How many kills we got on this thing? 8 already, wow. Yeah, but apart from that though, the Axis forces generally, I would say, commanding the map, definitely commanding the victory points, and the British forces, obviously they're going to be stronger in the... Oh, that's a good grenade. Ugh. And is there going to be a kill on this Tommy squad? That's a squad that needs to fall back. There's a squad wipe going here. He just needs one hit. Oh, I think that Tommy's going to get away. Whew, lucky that. The Tommy squad obviously costs 280, and he's got the 30 munition upgrade there. Or is it 35 for the medic pack? And a mortar position being built in a nice location. I like this. Brit players are learning to be more aggressive with the placement on their mortar positions. A lot of times in the early days, I would see Brits deploying it like behind this building or here, but then it's only really firing if your opponent's like making a push. Here, it can be a constant interference with your enemy's operations. I think I might have preferred it being positioned like here or something, but I realise that's not an option right now, so that's fair enough. Let's see, we've got MG34 squads times 2 for the overcommand player, so just checking that. Meanwhile, for the Brits, let's go check the teching. So we've got the platoon command post, the company command post yet to come. Floating 93 fuel, I believe it costs 135 to upgrade to this, so that'll probably be the next fuel investment. I'd be amazed if you got anything else. A Jagdpanzer the choice of tech here for Fortune. Ooh. Interesting, and a nice counter for the Beaufort, although, you know what? I've seen this happen before. If a Beaufort 1v1's a Jagdpanzer, the Beaufort will actually win I've seen it happen in a couple of games now. I mean, obviously it's a little bit RNG dependent, but I've seen it happen enough times now that I'm confident that the Bofors will take a Jagdpanzer if they just sit and shoot at each other. Anyway, a big move out here of forces. And taking advantage of the fact that the Bofor is braced, Fortune's going to push in with some Volks. Now this is a pretty important place. The Royal Engineers are going to come in, and I'd love to see them garrison the building, one or the other of them, or start repairing. Also, he's chosen Royal Engineers. Oh, he doesn't have the munitions for a standfast. Oh, and that would change everything as a grenade comes in from the Volks Grenadiers. The Bofor starts firing, and there's a squad wipe going here, but the Jagdpanzer saves the squad wipe by destroying the Bofor, and now the mortar position could be in jeopardy. Royal Engineers with a Piat launcher coming in though, and that should force the Jagdpanzer back. I don't think I'd like to trade for damage if I was that Jagdpanzer, but having said that, it only needs like 2 more shots to destroy this mortar emplacement. So with that in mind, yeah, he takes the shot, and now he needs to force shot, one more shot, and looks like he doesn't want to do that. And that's fair enough. So it's going to have to force the Brit player to reman this. Here we go, some Tommies hopping in. That's going to force the Tommies back. That's a squad off the front line. And when the Axis are being as aggressive as they are, you need every squad you can get. Now, these Volks should be enough to take this. Where's the there's a Vickers firing from just here, which is a great position. Tommy's in the building. I almost think he wants to cycle the Tommies out and get the Vickers into that building, because that'd be just commanding. But an MG34 is in position here, and that's going to prevent too much shenanigans from the British forces. The mortar position now being repaired. And a squad of Storm Pioneers are coming in to try and finish it off. Oh, they're going to do heinous damage to these engineers who were repairing, of course. And getting suppressed now by the Vickers at the back, so the Storm Pioneer is going to have to get out of there. But this is a very wounded mortar position, and I think possibly some light guns could be built by Fortune. Some light guns would just put the final touches on that. He still hasn't deployed his second Schwerver Max Schlepper, but fair enough, because he spent his fuel on the Jagdpanzer, and that, it has to be said, has done well for him so far. It's also kind of like future-proofing against any vehicle choices from the Brit player. Brit player now nearly coming up to the point where he can afford that company command post, but I believe it costs like 350 manpower or something insane. Like, it's pretty expensive to tech for the Brits in terms of 360 manpower to get that company command post, so we're not going to be seeing that anytime soon. Now, he has actually, controversially, decided to go for one of these 2cm Flak 38 emplacements, and for once, it's going to do something. Wow, like forcing some guys back, killing a dude. Basically, these are awful because they cost fuel, they cost a bit of manpower, they die to everything. I mean, look, one hit from a mortar is on half health, and did you know that a single sniper round will decrew these, thereby allowing your opponent to take them? Like, they're not good, but whatever, Fortune doing what he thinks is right. This is not going to last very long. The mortars are just hooning home. The Bofor is being remade. Fair enough. Just going to replace it in the exact same position. I prefer here. I think this is a much better position, or even just like here, because I kind of feel like here, this hedge here is just cutting off so much of the area it would cover. Anyway, we've got a skirmish up in the north. Seems like Piat's the weapon of choice for this particular Brit player. Actually, no, wait, he's got a Bren on one squad, Piat on the other squad of Tommies. What I tend to do when I play Brits, I just load up my Tommies with Bren guns, and I load up my engineers with Piats, and it's pretty cool. Hey, quick tip about the Piat, you know, you can totally attack ground and fire through hedges. So, for example, let's suppose that I've got some engineers here, and there's a Panzer IV here. I can just attack ground, flump over the hedge, and hit them with the Piat. It's pretty cool. Bofor, it seems that Fortune's going to discover that the Bofor is alive when it starts just chewing down his guys. So, gonna have to get out of there. Bofor is, I mean, this is just an awkward place to hold. It's not that I don't like it, I'm just not sure, I'm just not convinced it's the best. And just gonna quickly pour myself a little cup of tea. Got a little pot on the brew next to me. A little bit of Pearl Jasmine tea. Had the choice this morning. Delightful. So, taking control of one of the victory points, but down now by a massive 395 tickets. Sorry, 295 tickets. That is issues now. wopzwopz gonna have to make a move, and he's coming into that stage in the game where he can. Like, he has the fuel for the tech, but because of the expensive reinforced costs on all the Brit forces, he still doesn't have the 360 manpower. Sorry, the 360 manpower. So he's gonna have to just keep saving. Pretty frustrating. Tommy's in a good position here, should beat these Volks. Ooh, the Piat scoring a good hit there, wounding a lot of the Volks there. The Jagdpanzer has been repaired and it's circling for an attack. MG34 here, just being issues for the advance here. And is that the beginnings of a live barrage? Yes, we do have a live, and that should just make this emplacement. I mean, another issue with this placement is they're very close, so a live barrage placed in the middle, I mean, like, these rounds can, if they miss one, they're going to hit the other a lot of the time. So, I mean, obviously, clustering buildings or units is always going to make them weak to indirect fire, so I reckon the correct placement for this Bofor, right, is either here... No, I just think it's here. I just think it's here. Like, if they're going to come through here, just, I don't know, have a Vickers there, or the Bofors can probably still reach. It definitely can with suppressive. I'm not sure I think that's the best positioning. Whoa, what was that? Oh, that was the flak position. Wow, doing some work there, actually. Getting a squad wipe. Squad of Tommies here, hiding and repairing. These Tommies here doing good work against a squad of Volks. I believe they've displaced another. This MG34 probably just wants to come over and poke these Tommies away. The reason I say it is this area it's covering isn't doing much good, because you know you've got Volks in this building, so you know nothing's coming through there. Mortar position just going to continue to exchange up to 1-star veterancy now, just kind of hammering away at troops in this area, and coming now to take the southern victory point. Oh wow! The Piats are going to do good work. There we go. Now he takes it. There we go. These flak positions really don't have a lot of toughness. You know, they just die almost instantly to anything really. So that's going to do some good. These Volks probably want to fall back, and they will. The MG34 has been repositioned, so those Tommies are going to have to either get out of there or fall back or whatever. Probably just moving them back is going to be the best bet. Now, has the Brit player managed to establish the company command post? Yes, he has. Thank goodness. I was going to say his fuel seems to have gone somewhere. And 2 machine guns. Wow, these Tommies just going to take some serious DACA now. Oh, at least they would do, but I don't think there's any line of sight spotting. There we go. So you're going to push the machine guns forward so you can see what he's firing at. Now, Fortune just lost his first ticket of score. So I wouldn't say that's issues just yet, but he certainly wants to just bring the north of the map back in order. This Tommy squad is the only thing for the British player that's in the north of the map, so by displacing them as he has, he can now push forward, grab these points with his Volks and his Storm Pioneers. He can grab this one as well if he feels like it, which he should. The MG is going to push up into a more advantageous position. You know what, they could be a serious thorn in his opponent's side if he just grabbed this building and this building, because I think that's just outside the range of the Bofors in main firing mode. And yeah, you're going to draw a bit of mortar fire, but actually, yeah, you know what, the mortars make that not such a great plan. This Lig, there we go, now it's taking shots. I was going to say, doesn't want to forget about the Lig, and I would say, if he accumulates the manpower, just wants to grab another one, because this is quite a big investment here, and using 2 Ligs to take them down, it does just fine. Ooh, a Lux. Wow, interesting. I mean, suppose if you've got the Jagdpanzer, which, sorry, I must have missed a fight where it got damaged. If you're going to have a Jagdpanzer, a Lux is a really good choice, because obviously the Jagdpanzer covers you for armor, and the Lux is pretty vicious against infantry, so pretty nice. Nice little combination there. Brit Force is going to try and take the north again. We've got a lot of Brens. We've got the heavy, so the Anvil tactics have been chosen from the company command post, because we now got the Vickers K. You can hear it just blazing away off these heavy Royal Engineers. And it seems that the additional squad member research has also been taken. So let me see. Yeah, he's got weapon rats and the additional squad research. Possibly we'll get grenades shortly. Of course, the grenade upgrade for the Brits also enables your tanks to throw grenades, so that's totally worthwhile. Wow, the Luke's going to come in and just bully these engineers around whilst mowing them down. That seems like a very appropriate counter to this area of the map. I really like that. And Fortune is running out of time. Sorry, not Fortune. wopzwopz is running out of time a little bit. It's kind of worrying. This Lux is going to get out of there because there are a lot of infantry here with Piats and whatnot. Oh dear, is he going to get a wipe on those Tommies? That would be unlucky. He needs to get the Lux out. There we go, and he does get it out. But wopzwopz here, running out of time. He doesn't actually control the south victory point, so he's going to be bleeding at a fast rate. And I don't know. I mean, he's nearly up to enough fuel. He needs 110 for a Cromwell. And I don't even know if that's going to be a good choice, because there's a Jagdpanzer already. So if you don't go for a Cromwell, I mean, you can grab a Centaur, but I don't think that helps. You know what, the Centaur's probably better than the Cromwell, though, because it's better against infantry. It'll still push the Lukes away, and it's just the same against the Jagdpanzer. Not very good. Although, actually, you know what? There's only one Shrek on a squad of Volks. So, actually, if you went for a Cromwell and just raced it round the side and the rear of this Jagd, there's not any other anti-tank, so, yeah, no, there's just no other anti-tank. That's a thing. Yeah, he can do that. He can get a Cromwell, take a hit or two getting around the back of this Jagdpanzer, and then just kill it. Yeah, I think he can do that. It depends a little bit on how things go, and also whether those Volks with the Shrekker are clever enough to come back and then help out. But even if they do, I'm not convinced that that'll be the end. Oh, the be-all end. Oh, this Lux is just taking grievous fire, but you know what? It's dishing grievous fire. Ever the potent units like acid death for infantry. Here it goes, boom, that's a squad wipe on a 3-star squad of Tommies who had an upgrade and a weapon. Goodness, that's horrible. And these engineers caught out in the open, of course, and when they come under fire, these heavy engineers, they slow right down. Their movement speed gets reduced like to very, very, very low levels. These engineers also taking fire. The Lux is going to scoot out there with 2-star vet and just repair. And So these guys are pretty much committed to this fight. Well, they're not committed. They could waddle this way, but it really would be a waddle because, like I say, they move really slowly in combat once they're upgraded.
The enemy are attacking an emplacement.
And he has taken the north victory point and the south. So wopzwopz beginning to stabilize. And you know what? He's just stashing his fuel up. So I think a Sherman Firefly could be a really good choice. Oh, the Lig's just pouring the fire down here. Stand fast being used though, so that's going to pretty much mitigate that. But yeah, I think saving for the Firefly. The Firefly could be a totally legitimate choice. I like the Firefly because it can push the Jagdpanzer away. I believe. It can at least keep it at arm's length. And you can get the tulip rockets on it, and it just, I don't know, it's a bit of future-proofing because the Axis player is also going to be spending his fuel on something at some point. Or, of course, he's gone for Anvil, so he could go for the Churchill. And then there's the Churchill Ava coming up. You know what, he could just be going for, yeah, the Ava would be a nice choice. Doesn't really answer the Jagdpanzer though, but you know, the Churchills just have so much health they can pretty much just deal with it. There's no real sort of frontline fight going on right now, so I'm just scrolling around the map, just trying to frame the action. This Lig is pretty much the only thing that's doing anything. Ah, there we go, now we have a skirmish. Squad of Volks here, going to run into a couple of Tommies. The assault engineers, look how slow they are in a fight. But they're going to come in, they've got the Vickers K, so as soon as they stand still, they'll start blazing away with that. Where are these Volks going exactly? This seems like a really bad idea. Oh my goodness. Pull them back for the love of God. They're so low. Apparently, no, he really does know what he's doing, is Fortune. Whatever, cool, forces the fall back. He's going to use these guys just to grab a point, but they're in danger of a squad wipe. From the mortars, now that supporting infantry is here, I really like falling these guys back. It's making me nervous. And a squad of Tommies here, going to push all the way back, and if we crack open the tactical map here, it's a large amount of ground being held for the British players, really leveraging this fortification here to just sort of dominate these areas here, and that
emplacements are ready to stand fast.
that's providing him a lot of utility right now. So yeah, although I don't particularly think that this positioning on the Beaufort is the best, it's far from useless. I'd say it's certainly good.
The enemy are attacking an emplacement.
The Ligs just continuing to... I say, yep, no, there are two Ligs now, so that's great. Was that the indirect fire from the Beaufort? No.
Supply line's been cut.
Oh, that would have been maybe some... Yeah, oh, it was just the mortars, that's what it was. Mortars flailing down here. Trying to find the Ligs, not having a lot of success. The Lukes is now repaired, got the repair tool on the Storm Pioneers, and that gives them a fantastic repair rate. I believe, is it 2-star vet they get enhanced? No, 3-star? Yeah, constructor. So it's 3-star for faster repair, but you know what? Storm Pioneers with a repair tool repair pretty damn fast. And the Lukes is just looking for a fight here in the south of the map, and if we'd have seen some mines used from the Brit player, this would be a super risky move. And it's not... I mean, he does have some munitions. He's basically constantly using stand fast, like constantly. And here we have a regular Churchill is the choice, not the Churchill Ava. How much is a regular Churchill? Is it more fuel? 150, the Ava 140 I believe. 600 manpower versus 540, so a little cheaper on manpower, a little more expensive on fuel there for the Churchill. And that's a bit of a playmaker. It can take a Jagdpanzer, but I think it's just a bit too slow. I think the Jagdpanzer will just reverse move away, happily flumping at it, so... not sure that really works. And Fortune is back in control now of 2 of the victory points on the map. It's these Brit forces here moving out. The mortars just kind of harassing these weapon teams. There we go. We'll watch the next 2 mortars as they fly in. Oh, that's a good hit there, killing half of them. Oh wow, is that a Pack 43? Ooh. Okay. Wow, he's building a Pack 43, so that's going to have range up to here. It's in a pretty good position. Oh dear, the Churchill finds the Jagdpanzer. The Jagdpanzer's going to retreat. And I'm going to sneeze. Really sorry. Oh no, I'm not. It's sorry, yes I am. That was really bad timing for a sneeze there, right as we have a massive fight between the 2 major fuel investments for each player. Anyway, the Churchill just going to do a little bit, probably get forced back by this Panzerschreck. I would imagine this Vickers wants to get set up. There we go, it's going to be set up. Just taking a bit of damage. Push forward with the Jagdpanzer. I don't think that Jagd's in range, and if it was just here, it could be helping. Come on, get the Jagdpanzer. There's a Jagdpanzer that needs to be in this fight. What are you doing? Ah! Sorry. No, the Luke is going to escort those Volks, so we're going to grab that point to the south. Now, if the British player had a squad in that Beaufort, he could use the suppressive barrage, and I believe that that might be in range to prevent the capture of that point. It's touch and go. The range is not very long on that, so I'm not sure if it's in or not. And the Jagdpanzer is making moves on this Churchill. The Pak 43 is finished. That is a Churchill in jeopardy now. You know, I still think it will have enough. Oh no, maybe it won't have enough health. The Jagdpanzer could get it. It misses. The Jagdpanzer misses. That was the crucial shot. Is he going to take one more shot? Go on, take one more shot. Oh, he's going to miss. No, get out of there, buddy. The Churchill lives to fight another day, but it will take quite a long time to repair. Actually, you know what? Maybe it won't actually, because 3-star engineers with 5-man squad upgrade repairs in reasonable time. How many squads of engineers does he have? 2 of them. So if they both get up there, then they're both heading for the Churchill. So yeah, they're both going to start repairing that. I would just pull these storm planners off there. I mean, the building's all good and well. It's nearly at full health. Just start repairing the Jagdpanzer. It's far more important. And this Pak 43 in a beautiful position. How much does it cost to build a Pak 43 these days? 500 manpower and 13 of your finest unit cap. So not cheap in terms of unit cap, but definitely if you've got the manpower going, yeah, why not? Interesting as well, because it totally doesn't cost fuel, whereas the British 17-pounder, I believe, does cost some fuel. Let me just check. Yeah, I mean, it definitely costs fuel, doesn't it? 75 fuel, 400 manpower. So, and 20 unit cap. I've never actually seen one of these built. I've never built one myself. I've never seen any player use them yet. But I'm assuming for that cost, they're pretty good. Just assuming. I'm assuming that, yeah. So an MG34 is going to run out into a really bad position, and I can only assume that he's feeding this. No, he's going to fall it back. It looked like he was just feeding this unit away to get the unit cap back, but it seems like that is a legitimate pullback. So okay, maybe not that then. How much fuel is the Axis player up to? Okay, so he's coming on to enough for a Panzer IV, and I think that a Panzer IV would actually be a really cheeky choice, because his opponent only has the 1 Churchill and it can only be but he has enough manpower.
Emplacements are ready to stand.
He can get the Ava soon. Yeah, I still think a Panzer IV is a good choice. Just gives you an armoured unit, like just to push in a location where your opponent does not have anti-tank and just kind of stress the British lines. I think that'd be really cool. Oh dear, these Volks, they're going to get squad wipes. That's a squad wipe.
Enemy causing trouble.
Those Volks going to bite the dust. And this Luke's going to help out again, just taking care of a squad of engineers. And wopzwopz down to 87 tickets. He does not have much time. He needs to make something happen. He does hold the northernmost victory point, but not for long. The majority of his forces falling back to rearm and repair, so he probably has one last push in him. Here comes an Ava. And like, if there's any time in the game that he can make a play, it's got to be now, because he's got the Churchill, he's got the Ava. Once he reinforces and gets all of his guys back out, he's ready to rock. And the Pak 43 is in position, gets a solid thump into that Ava. Sorry, into that Churchill. Churchill's going to throw a grenade onto the MG34. That is going to take care of most of the squad. Jagdpanzer's going to get a nice hit. Now he can attack ground with the Pak 43. Oh, he's going to move it. I don't like... Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was an attack round command. This Churchill is in severe jeopardy now. The Jagdpanzer surely going to take it. Oh, a bounce! And here comes the Ava. Is it going to take the Pak 43? Or is it going to take the Jagdi? I think you've got to take the Pak 43, because that cannot move. Taking the shot. Here we go. It's good! Utterly destroys the Pak 43. No opportunity to reman that. But with a 4-star squad of Volks and a Jagdpanzer pushing it back, Jagdpanzer's taking shots. It's down to like 25% health is the Ava. And he's already lost the Churchill. That's like 150 fuel investment. You've got to get this out. Come on, Jagdpanzer takes a shot. I think there's one more hit left in this, and I can hear a Werfermann firing. I think that's probably got to be splashing across these. Yep, here it goes. The Stukas are first doing some work there. Maybe the light guns are going to come in for another barrage. Oh, and he pushes with the Jagdpanzer. Not even that far, and the Bofors is going to harass it. But, oh, the main gun's destroyed. If the engine goes, that's a dead Jagdpanzer. But you know what, he can engage cautious movement. I'd love to see him do that. It would cloak the Jagdpanzer and just keep it alive. The Ligs are going to hit home with the Ava destroyed. 73 tickets remaining. Actually, he does hold 2 of the victory points, but as soon as, there we go, now they're moving. As soon as Fortune remembers to start taking these points, I mean, he's probably microing that Jagdpanzer quite hard, but now he's pushing out to grab the points. And I think that might be all she wrote for our British player wopzwopz. I'm not quite sure what the play is now. He's got a 6-pounder, sorry, I always call it the 1/4-pounder, whatever. I'm going to call it the 1/4-pounder, I'm just going to be proud. He's got a 1/4-pounder AT gun here. So he's not without anti-tank, and there aren't really any, I mean, there's a Luke's, but beyond that, there's not really any tanks. You know, there's not like there's a Panzer IV that can just come in and start circle strafing everyone down or anything like that. So this 1/4-pounder is going to be probably good enough. The Werfermann is a solid choice, I like that. And he's going to salvage back his pack gun, also solid. I like that. I always think it's weird when you salvage a unit that costs no fuel, and you get fuel. Like when you salvage like a machine gun or whatever. There's a Panzerschreck on the ground here. Wow, I imagine the Brit forces would love to get their hands on that. Luke's is just doing good work, up to 15 kills, nearly 3-star vet. What does he get at 3-star? Faster and more line of sight, I think. Cool. He's already, I mean, the most important one is 2-star, because that gives you the rate of fire upgrade, and like that lets you vet up really, really fast, so that's the most important one. Fortune is now in control of 2 of the 3 victory points. This Luke's is getting attack ground shotted. I think it should get out, and it will. There we go. Yeah, no, it's just going to chill there. Actually, you know what? It could poke these Tommies back. They don't have a Piat, as far as I can... Actually, wait, that is a Piat. Yeah, they do. Okay. MG34 going to deploy here, and that's going to make life really annoying for these Tommies. Enemy attacking! And there's no other fights going on the map. The British player just reinforcing, rearming his squads right now. You can see, as ever, the Brits so low on manpower. And this is a story all throughout the game for the Brits. From the early to the late game, you're constantly buying and reinforcing very expensive squads of infantry. And your manpower is constantly taxed. And if you're trying to build tanks and fortifications and grab your HQ research, like your grenades, your weapon racks, your squad man, you know, maybe you're trying to build a forward fallback point, maybe you're trying to build that forward assembly point. Whatever you're trying to do with Brits, it costs always too much manpower. And so, yeah, it's, he's just having to wait for the manpower there. Now he's reinforced these squads, but some more Tommies coming back. So basically a constant drain on the manpower for the British forces. And the Werferman's firing. Gotta imagine that's going to splash these again. Yeah, I don't think this is very good. I mean, it's alright. I prefer waiting for the Werferman until your opponent makes a push and then hitting their units, because these things are just constantly on standfast. Like, standfast has just been active this whole game, pretty much. Well, not quite, I exaggerate, but certainly active when it's relevant and the Brit player can afford it, which is most of the time. Contact! So, yeah. Not sure I like just flailing the Werferman as these. I mean, it's not even giving it that much veterancy. It's giving it about a quarter of a level of veterancy each time. Anyway, another Churchill is coming out for wopzwopz, and I think this really is now last chance, last chance. The Churchill's going to go up to the loops, trying to help out these beleaguered infantry who are being run down a bit. Oh, dearie me, that Luke's nearly up to 4-star, doing work, and the Churchill's going to get a shot, but it's a miss. And the Lukes will easily be able to speed away from it. Might take another shot. No, it's not going to. Jagdpanzer's going to come out and try and hunt down this Churchill. It's got 2-star veterancy, which is when it gets the extended line of sight, so it can almost certainly see the Churchill. Oh, dearie me. Careful. If the Churchill was to come around here and flank this Jagdpanzer, that would probably be a dead Jagdpanzer, really. Oh, and he realises it. He's going to back on out. Okay, both of them exchanging fire. I want to get that Jagdpanzer out. The Churchill is not too sluggish, actually. For a heavy tank that looks as big as it looks, it is actually not that sluggish. And when do we get... I think it's a 3-star? Oh no, it never gets a maneuverability upgrade. Oh right, sorry, I'm thinking of the Crocodile, which gets maneuverability upgrade. Obersoldat now with an MD34 coming in. Brit player wopzwopz down to 34 tickets. And an Axis squad is moving out to the south, so that southern point is going to get taken probably sooner rather than... Oh no, the Churchill in a terrible position. Pardon me, I'm not sure I like this Churchill. Oh my goodness, Tommy's getting massacred by the Lukes as well. Now, was that the quarter pounder just chipping in for a hit? Was that the Churchill getting a hit? That was the Churchill. I just think that the Churchill doesn't stand a chance against this Jagdpanzer. He's just kind of lurking with it. Oh no, the Luke's even doing some damage. How does that happen? He's going to smoke it and use the repair ability. So that's this vehicle crew repairs, but the Jagdpanzer is right up in its face. So that's now a dead Churchill. It was just an overextension. Wow. Yeah, there we go. That was an overextension. The Churchill had no business being out there completely unsupported against a Jagdpanzer. I just no. Just no. There's no reason for that. All that's going to happen is what just happened. You're just going to lose your Churchill for very little. Anyway. Possibility that the Luke's going to take a final hit and die? No. And what's it get at 4-star veterancy? Extends the range, and I believe at 5-star it suppresses, doesn't it? Yeah, ugh. So that Luke's is getting pretty scary. Obersoldat going to grab this point, and wopzwopz at the moment in command of 2 of the 3 victory points. But that's going to change because we've got Obersoldat grabbing the north one, and these Storm Pioneers here going to grab the south. Werferman again just sitting around onto these guys. Yada yada, very boring, pretty much does nothing. I don't know. If I was him, I'd just push an infantry squad to like here, park the Werferman here, and just take a flump at your opponent's base when he falls back some units, try and get the squad wipes. Anyway, looks like these Oversoldaten playing fire, gonna get out, and weren't able to capture this point, just get it decapped, but with these Storm Pioneers, unless they get unluckily wiped by those mortars, they should be able to finish the cap on this point. And that will provide the victory point momentum that I believe Fortune needs to take this game. His opponent reasonably exhausted now. 47 supply under 81 for the overcommand. And that's pretty hard to come back from now. We do another vehicle entering the fray. It's a Firefly. I like the choice of the Firefly. I think of the 3 tanks he deployed so far, he's had 2 Churchills and an Ava. If I was him, I would have gone first Churchill, then Firefly, then Ava. Because the first Churchill gives you some ground, you can kind of make a play at the Jagdpanzer with it on its own. But with the Firefly backing it up, that pretty much gives you dominance of the armor game. Like a Jagdpanzer cannot take a Firefly with a Churchill. Just can't do it. The Lux isn't going to do anything about that, and the only other anti-tank he's got is this Panzerschreck on these Volks, and that's not going to be enough either. So that could have been a nice way of trying to take it. But as he falls to 14 tickets, he's losing 1 ticket per tick at the moment, so he has managed to secure the north point. Wow, there's the really loud gunshot glitch. That's just something that they've introduced recently. Anyway. Yeah, these Tommies are actually going to grab the south point. Ah! There's a squad making a grab at mid as well. So this isn't going to end, not immediately anyway. He's still on 10, he survives. Wow, and this Firefly, where's it headed? It's headed to the north. Again, I'm not sure I like this positioning. A much better place for it is in mid, because then it has the support of the Bofors and the mortars, and it can quickly reposition whenever he sees an opponent's tank. It can come down here to the south, or up here to the north. By positioning it to the north, you're basically saying, oh, okay, you're definitely sending your armour to the north. That's funny, the game has just ended. It normally says play back over. Well, anyway, even without saying play back over, I think we can surmise what has happened. British player wopzwopz has GG'd at this moment, and that seems absolutely fair enough. He was defeated in this game and was shortly to lose and be kicked out anyway. Some good play from wopzwopz. Using the Royal Engineer Regiment to its strengths, getting a nice emplacement here and making a good phase of dominance through the mid-game, of like the south and mid of the map. Using Standfast really effectively. I think his use of Tommies and Engineers, that was all absolutely fine. I think even going for Anvil was fine. But I think his mistake was his Churchill micro just seemed like off, basically. And he just kind of exposed them, overextended way too far. This Jagdpanzer was more than happy to capitalise on that. And you just can't play your Churchills like that in the face of a Jagdpanzer, and now we see why. I also think that his build order with his fuel spending was fine up until the first Churchill, and then the second unit, he went for the Ava after that, and I would have gone for the Firefly second for the reasons that I spoke about earlier, just because that lets you command the map. I mean, because like I say, the Jagdpanzer and the Lux and the 1 Panzerschreck are not enough to deal with the Firefly and the Churchill. So that's what I would have changed, and I think if he had done that, he would have had slightly more of a play. Also, I mean, he doesn't really have the manpower, that's the thing. The British forces are always so taxed on resources, but I would have liked to have seen him establish a Beaufort, like, here, maybe. Because that would have just made, like, assaulting the top of the map just really difficult, and it also would have taxed the Ligs and the Werferman. Not that they were ever enough to come close to destroying these by themselves. The only time the Beaufort went down was to a concerted ground assault, so yeah, a good game there, and Fortune playing fantastically. I really like it. Okay, deploying the battle grouper headquarters in the base. I'm not such a fan of that, but when your plan is to go for a Jagdpanzer, that actually then justifies itself. So I think going for the early Jagdpanzer before the second truck was deployed was really cool. And yeah, and he's clearly a guy who knows how to use the Jagdpanzer. I mean, that did work throughout the game. Destroyed 2 vehicles, so yeah, it's pretty worth it. And helped in the death of the others too. So, anyway, yes, a good replay there. Thanks very much for watching. This is Magpie842 signing out.